As sad as it is, K-pop idols are so overworked that sometimes they collapse while performing on stage, filming a music video, or even during a fan meeting. The extreme dieting, tight schedules, hard training, and lack of sleep takes a toll on their health of idols, and it can eventually result in very unfortunate situations. Some of these fainting cases are so worrying that it might even break your heart. Let's not waste any more of your time and get through 11 times when idols fainted on camera. Girls' Day's Hyeri. Hyeri is an idol that many of you probably already know. Whether you remember Hyeri as a singer or an actress, it still means that you most likely realize how extremely talented this girl is. Girls' Day had many songs that became an instant hit because of their catchy music and great concepts. During their promotions with their song Something, the group was really busy. They had been appearing on TV almost every day and performed everywhere. The unfortunate thing happened when they were performing at M Countdown in January 2014. Hyeri seemed very tired and something didn't look right with her. She was having a really hard time, and almost at the very end of the performance, everyone noticed that she had trouble breathing. Hyeri found herself at a loss of strength but pulled through and finished the performance. But as soon as the song was over, Hyeri collapsed right there on the stage. Her fellow members tried to help her, but the staff members immediately noticed that and ran to help. She was carried on someone's back to safety. The managers of Girls' Day rushed to the hospital with Hyeri, and after getting checked up, the doctors said that she was experiencing a severe cold and fatigue. All of this was because of the tiring schedule that the group had in 2014. SHABET'S SUBIN. A similar thing happened 3 years earlier to SUBIN from SHABET. In 2011, while the group was performing, SUBIN tried to keep on dancing, but it was so difficult for her that she literally felt like she was going to pass out. Although she tried to pull through, she knew her limits, and since she felt that she would faint any minute, SUBIN crouched down in an instant just so she wouldn't fall. Her co-members stopped performing and rushed to see her. It was later revealed that SHABET had a really busy schedule and SUBIN's body wasn't in the right condition to perform. SHINee's Onyu. One of the craziest and most terrifying stories must be about our dear Onyu from SHINee. It was back in 2009 when he experienced something that no one ever expected to happen. After the group finished their performance on Music Bank, the lights and the structure that was keeping them together started to collapse and crashed on the floor. Onyu was left in a complete shock since it almost hit him. Because of the shock and terror, he lost consciousness and fell to the floor. Super Junior members who were also there immediately rushed to help and tried to hold up the lighting structure in order to not let it collapse on top of Onyu. Meanwhile, the group's manager tried to help Onyu by taking him to the back and carrying him backstage. What was really sad was that some netizens started to attack Girls' Generation online after the video was posted. They said that Girls' Generation members were supposed to help too, but completely forgot to take into consideration that it was a mass confusion at the time of the accident and they barely knew what to do themselves. MBLAQ's Seungho. This story is far from pretty. MBLAQ was a group that debuted in 2009 and had managed to attract a lot of attention during their active days. The members of the group were really talented, so it was no surprise that they tried to make their performances look as good as possible. During one of their performances, Seungho tried to do a very tricky move that was more on the acrobatic side. Although everything seemed great at first, he ended up falling straight on his face and remained lying on the floor without moving. At that moment, everyone got worried since he seriously injured himself. Seungho is currently 33 years old and thriving, so don't worry, he survived the terrible fall. G-Friend's Yuju. When G-Friend held a fan meeting in 2017, something unexpected happened. As the girls were signing autographs, talking with their fans, and enjoying their time there, one member was experiencing something really terrifying. Yuju suddenly broke down and collapsed with her face on the table. Many people say that she blacked out. People got extremely worried, and when she managed to lift her head up, it was obvious that she was experiencing terrible fatigue and exhaustion, plus horrible pain in her stomach. The leader Solwon took care of the situation by standing up and rushing towards her fellow member. She helped her up and along with Yerin carried Yuju to safety. Soon after this incident happened, people found out that Yuju was having acute gastroenteritis because of not eating well. Honestly, poor girl. I must admit though, Solwon did a great job at taking care of the situation back then. She proved that she was an amazing leader. Hyuna. We all know Hyuna as a fierce performer, but she's also a very strong woman. Hyuna was diagnosed with 3 serious medical conditions back in 2016: depression, panic attacks, and vasovagal syncope. The last condition is a serious thing when your body reacts to certain triggers by overheating and eventually fainting. Unfortunately, Hyuna has been the victim of this terrible condition for years. She has fainted several times, whether it was during photo shoots, filming, or being backstage. These things were usually not captured on camera, but one video that showed her sad condition circulated the internet after she released her single Flower sophomore shower. While filming the music video for the song, Hyuna suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed. She had to stop filming immediately and was taken to the hospital and then home. Hyuna admitted several times that she feels horrible when these things happen to her while she's working because she feels like she's wasting other people's time. It's definitely one of the saddest things she's ever said. FX's KRYSTAL. KRYSTAL Jung was a member of the girl group FX. Same as her sister Jessica Jung, KRYSTAL also suffers from a medical condition known as anemia. Ever since her debut, she has experienced several times the attack of her condition on her body. She fainted for the first time on camera back in 2010 while performing the group's song Mr. Boogie. KRYSTAL wasn't her usual self and everybody noticed. She barely kept dancing and at one point she simply collapsed. The members immediately ran to see what happened, but since they were aware of her condition, they knew what to do. But this also happened because of the busy schedule and terrible dieting that female idols are forced to go through. KRYSTAL struggled in one episode of Kiss and Cry too. After an extremely physically demanding performance, she simply couldn't keep it up anymore and collapsed on the floor. However, that's not all. In 2014, KRYSTAL actually fainted right after the group finished performing their songs at SM Town concert. The lights were barely down when she rushed from the stage and on the way backstage literally lost consciousness. Her fellow members and the whole security team immediately rushed to help her and brought her to safety. She was later hospitalized and taken care of. Kim Jong-hoon. The singer Kim Jong-hoon is mostly known for his rock ballads, but the story I'm about to tell you made the media go crazy. Although he's 57 years old, he's still active in the entertainment industry and we can only applaud him for that. What happened back in 2008 was really scary though. Jong-hoon joined the West Coast Festival concert as a part of his charity work. Alongside him, Super Junior joined this event too. When Jong-hoon began performing, everything seemed okay, but the situation quickly changed when he literally collapsed on the stage and didn't wake up. He recovered his consciousness in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. It was later revealed that Jong-hoon collapsed because he was only getting 1 hour of sleep during the whole week. His company was pushing him to practice for the concert and he himself didn't want to disappoint people who would attend the event. Despite that, it was really heartbreaking to watch. VIX's N. Cha Ha-gyeon, or simply known as N, once experienced a terrible thing. In 2017, when the group was performing in Gyeongju with their song Love Me Do, N seemed very tired. At one point while he was dancing, he suddenly fell on the floor. Fans didn't know what was happening, but when the other members stopped performing in order to check on Ha-gyeon, everything became evident. Their fans started to scream in fear and worried for N's health. Thank God he was taken care of, but after he started to get better, he went on his SNS account and wrote a message to his fans. He promised them that he would take better care of his health. The reason why he collapsed was most likely due to terrible exhaustion and a busy schedule. G-Friend Shinbi. Unfortunately, Yuju wasn't the only G-Friend member who experienced feeling unwell during group promotions. In 2016, Shinbi appeared very tired during the performance of their song Mermaid. What's even more disturbing is that this wasn't a particularly physically demanding performance since the girls were only standing and singing without moving. Her face got very pale and she could barely keep standing on her own 2 feet. The situation ended up being absolutely terrifying. When the performance was near its end, Shinbi fainted and fell on the floor. When this happened, the rest of the group was totally in shock. Seo-won, the leader, was also left speechless, but she managed to gather her emotions and act in this troubling situation. The manager of the group rushed to the stage and told them that they cannot leave the stage now. However, Shinbi was taken backstage. It was really heartbreaking to see her getting dragged from there. I sincerely hope that things like this stop happening. Sunmi. And the last story is really sad too. Although Sunmi didn't faint while performing, she ended up collapsing after her performance was over. In 2018, Sunmi was pre-recording her performance of Siren for Music Bank and she was experiencing terrible exhaustion and dizziness because of her tight schedule. Back then, Sunmi was extremely busy promoting her latest music and it ended up being simply too much for her to take. After she collapsed, she was taken to the hospital and received proper treatment. That's all from me today, guys. Do you know any other occasions when idols fainted or collapsed on stage? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye!